Welcome, my nature lovers. How are we all doing today? For those of you returning for another one of my videos, I want to say thank you. As well as if you're new to my channel, I want to say welcome. This is Skelly by Nature. I am Skelly. And today's video is kind of a follow-up video of my last video, which was backyard salads. And in that video, I did tell you that I wasn't going to forage any of the stuff in my backyard due to the fact that I have dogs that run around my backyard. So today, it's a beautiful day here in May. This is May 12th, and I'm sitting in Minuteman National Forest, the national park. And I thought, what a beautiful spot to pick to do my first foraging video of the year is right here where the country began. As a matter of fact, the rock that you see sitting behind me over here to my left is the rock that William Thorning hid behind as British soldiers came down the road. Now, what William Thorning did was he hid behind this rock and he watched the British soldiers go by. And then when he came out of that rock and he hid behind this wall. And this is where the first shots, some of the first shots were fired in the Revolution War. So I figured this was a great spot. Another reason why I like to pick national forests when I do foraging is, one, a lot of the land that's around here is untouched. It's not mowed, it's not treated, so a lot of the stuff that you can pick from here is very natural, and as well as not being treated. Today I'm going to show you how to forage and what to do when you come across some of the plants, and then we're going to follow through them, and I'm going to show you how to prepare your dandelion salad or backyard salad, and how I like to prepare mine and what I like to do. So one of the first things I'm going to say is, if you do decide to use a national forest or anywhere, in fact, when you are foraging, the first thing that you always want to do is make sure to go to talk to the people who, whether they run the area, the national forest, or it's a homeowner with a nice field or something like that. But always ask for permission to do what it is you're doing. You might think, hey, I'm just picking weeds, who's gonna care? But sometimes, like I said, just make sure that it's okay, as well as it gives you an opportunity to meet some new people. So let's kick this video off. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of go around, and so let's get a little walk on and let's see what I can find. So I didn't have to go very far from where I started my video to come across, as you see, I got a nice little grouping of some dandelions, and so when you're looking to pick dandelions, if you're looking to use the whole entire dandelion, then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to be able to get down deep and get as much as that root as possible, whereas I'm going to be making some root coffee, and that will probably be for another video as well. So being, like I said, when I'm doing stuff like this, I like to try to be try not to disturb the ground as much as possible. Try to leave what only take what I want and what I need, which is the dandelion. So there's multiple ways of doing this. You can have a weeding tool. That's kind of just a little tool with a little fork end on it. I'm using a little thin spade, garden spade today. And so basically what we're gonna do is, as you can see, I got my dandelion. I know it's a dandelion. It's got the flower. It's got some nice decent leaves on it. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna dig right down and give it a little pull. And then I'm gonna go to the other side and I'm gonna just go down and give it a little pull. And I pull a little bit of the ground up, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of shake this and wiggle it. And then as you can see, I got a nice good portion of the root. I've got some nice greens here, and I got a little bit of some flower as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pick these, and I'm gonna pick a couple more and see what else we got going on around here. Okay, so now I'm back at the homestead, and now it's time to clean and prep what we have found. And as you can see, I actually found 5 of the plants that I had talked about prior. Obviously, one being our dandelions. I got a whole stack of dandelions. I also found a good amount of broadleaf plantain, and I also got some chickweed, and I found a little bit of oxalis, and as well as some bittercrest. So right now what I'm going to do is show you how to strip and clean each one of these so that we can get it ready for our salad. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to go with the broadleaf plantain. Now with the broadleaf plantain, I'm going to brush off any excess that I see, pull off any of the dead. And what I'm looking to do is just basically get the good portion of the bitter leaf. And so I'm going to have the leaves in there. I'm going to throw them in some water. As far as the chickweed, now the chickweed, when I clip the chickweed, I'm not pulling the roots out, so there's really not much that I need to trim or prepare. So I'm just going to kind of throw that. I got my bowl of water right here. And the same as the oxalis, I'm just gonna clip off some of the ends where I did maybe get a little bit of the root, but for the most part I got mostly the flower. So I'm gonna throw that in my bowl. And then with the bittercrest, you can see I got some of the weeds, so I'm just gonna kind of just above the root system, give it a good cut. And I got that. I'm going to throw that in my bowl. Now we're down to the dandelions. Now with the dandelions, I like to try to use, I use a good portion of all of it for the most part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by cutting off the flower, and I'm just going to put that in a bowl and keep that part. I'm also looking to keep the root as well. I'm going to be making some coffee out of that. So like I said, I'm also going through, I'm pulling out any of the dead. So basically I'm pulling off, the bottom couple rows of what my dandelion is. So now I'm just kind of left with the good portion. I also cut off the stalk of the flower, so we don't have that. So as you can see, I'm just left with the leaf and a little bit of the root. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, above the root, as you can see right here, I'm just going to cut what's good greens and put that in my bowl. I'm going to save those roots for later. And when I collect some more dandelions and collect enough roots, I'm going to make my dandelion coffee out of that. So now we have all of our stuff in this bowl, and we're just going to give this a good mixing to get the heavy dirt off or anything like that, or any bugs that might be in there. And then my next step is I like to use a salad tosser. So you want to rinse everything at least 2 to 3 times, just to get that dirt off, or depending on how dirty your stuff is. For the most part, most of this stuff is fairly clean because I picked it in from areas that are not highly trafficked. So I'm just going to pull that out. So there's my first washing. I'm going to throw those in there, and I'm going to continue doing this. And so again, I'm going to wash in here with a quick wash. I'm going to put them in here, give it a good spin, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to freshen up my water, and I will reuse this water. Actually, it's a beautiful day here in New England, so and we haven't had rain in a little bit, so I'm gonna use this water actually as a to go towards feeding my plants that you see behind me or in the greenhouse. So I'm going to be reusing my water. Reuse, reuse, reuse. And so I'm going to go through. I'm gonna finish cleaning this stuff, and when I'm finished with that, I'm going to empty out this bowl here, and then to help dry my greens, I'm just gonna use my salad spinner, and I'm gonna spin the water off. But if you don't have a salad spinner, and this is something you're going to be doing, I'd say go get one. They're cheap. They're awesome. If not, you can also just towel dry everything and then put them off to the side and let them kind of finish by air drying a little bit. So I'm going to continue doing that and see you in the next step. Okay, so now that we have everything prepped, cleaned, and dried for the most part, as you can see, now it's time to actually make our salad. So I'm going to show you what it is that I put inside and make my salad. So the first thing you want is a nice big bowl, and I do a cup of oil. I use a grapeseed oil, and I also do a cup of Italian dressing. Me personally, I love my Wishbone Italian dressing, so we got a cup of each, and I'm gonna pour that right into my bowl. Get that all nice. And then the next thing that I'm going to do to help cut, if you cut your dandelions in an early state, they're not so bitter. As they age, they kind of bitter up a little bit. So one thing that you can do to cut that bitterness is use balsamic vinegar. So I've got a half a cup of balsamic vinegar. I also just love the taste of balsamic vinegar. And so we're going to throw in there. I got a little pinch of salt. I'm going to throw that in there. Some black pepper. And I like to throw a little garlic in there. So we're going to throw some garlic in there. And I'm just going to give this a quick mixing. Real quick. Just kind of mix things up a bit. Okay. So now I'm just gonna take a handful of my greens, throw them in. I got my greens. So as you're doing this too as well, if you see any, ones that are just not worth using, go ahead and pull them out. I'm not too overly worried about them. So now we have our stuff in there. Now I'm one that if you got your own way of tossing your salad, go right ahead. I'm one that I like to kind of do it by hand and mix it all up. Get it all nice and well coated. Okay. And get all the greens and all that all mixed right in. Separate it a little bit. Get all that goodness. Look at that. So now I have everything all mixed up and it's looking pretty good. Okay, so at this point everything's been mixed up, everything's coated very well. And here's where you can, if you want, add more stuff to it. If you want to throw in some cucumbers, or tomatoes, or anything else you want to throw in there. But basically, I can go right ahead and, you can go right ahead and eat this just the way it is. And let's see how this is. So good. That's so good. So like I said, got some beautiful taste, beautiful crunch, and like I told you in the prior video, this has more nutritional value and more health benefit than any greens that you're gonna put together at your grocery store. And I got to enjoy the day in the national park. I got to have a nice little walk, learn a little bit more about history, pick some food for my sake. And as you can see, I got a good amount. And so this is going to serve me well for a couple days. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you do me a favor and hit that like button down below, as well as share this video with anyone else or any other groups that you feel would be interested in this, as well as subscribe to my channel if you haven't already subscribed. There's going to be a lot more foraging videos, especially it's going to be a thing that you're going to see more and more people doing, especially now with the way that, you know, all the price increases are at the grocery store. Like I said, this salad right here could serve a family, and I didn't pay $1 for it. So, you know, do yourself a favor. This is what people used to do. I know a lot of people look at me kind of weird when I do explain this, but I'll tell you, try it. Just try it once, and you'll see how beautiful this is. So again, I'll see you all in the next video. Be beautiful, be awesome.